Generalfund reporting for duty. I previously uploaded this video and had problems with the sound, so I'm going to try to do this again using the microphone this time. Just received the Bloodbath Ruleset cards today. They're looking awesome, and I just wanted to do a quick review of them and just go through them briefly. Other video was also far too long at 20 minutes, so I'm gonna try to do it a little faster here. So first change is the turn sequence. Now under Bloodbath rules, all technology is going to take place at the same time, which is kind of a pre-round before actual turns happen. Kind of same as before, that each power chooses a technology except for Italy, Anzac, and oh boy, Canada. And 4 IPCs to move it from, after your first free one, it's 4 IPCs to move it to slot 2, another 4 to move it to slot 3, and then you get a roll. If you get a 6, you get the tech. I guess, and again, me and Siredblood do this a little bit differently. On mine, on round 3, you get 1 roll, and if you get a 6, you get it. Otherwise, you pay for, you move it to the next slot. Then on slot 4, it's a 5 or a 6, and then when you get to slot 5, you automatically get it in here. He does a little bit differently, but yep, there you go. That's turn sequences. Unit statistics are mostly the same, except for the big change, which is to the strategic bomber. The strategic bomber only participates in 1 round of combat. I have mixed feelings about this particular rule because I feel like it adversely affects the allied powers. There's points in the game when with UK and the United States where the strategic bomber may be the only way that they can even get into the war, and limiting it to 1 round, while realistic in terms of reality, is I think it hurts the allies more, but definitely understand why it's in there, and test it out, see how it goes. These are great. I needed these. These are the research and development cards that match with the Siredblood roundels. These are awesome. The Axis scorecard with the victory conditions. This looks mostly unchanged. I think a few changes to the verbiage, and then World Oil 1 and World Oil 2 are defined a little bit differently, but we know the territories that are the oil producers and how that works. So, combined arms, mostly the same, with the exception of we've got the battleship and cruiser. The cruiser defends at 4 with a battleship. It's fine. Why not? Naval blockade explained, where each surface warship can block up to 3 warships on your opponent's movement phase. And what it prevented was the old, buying destroyers just to block, make a wall of blocks to ships, and this is better. The way this works is better. So I like that rule. Target selection for submarines and tactical bombers. It's fine. And aircraft explained. I think that's pretty much out of box. Amphibious assault explained. Again, I think it's out of box there. Scramble explained, out of box. Railways. I like railways. Railways is a nice addition by Siredblood. I played it in the Generalfund YouTube Wars, and it seemed to work fine. Didn't seem to, alter anything too much. And this is just more of a explanation of the, how it works. And yeah, railways there. The bombing raid explained, which is nice. And the and again, yeah, it's nice to have this on cards where you're not having to get out the book and look this up. It's just right here, which is awesome. Okay. Submarines explained. Transports explained. Convoy disruptions that now have the fighter and the tactical bomber on carriers will add to the disruption. Cool. And then air transports. Tried a version of this in the Generalfund YouTube Wars where the strategic bomber could be used to transport one infantry with no caveat. It was hugely controversial for reasons I don't completely understand. But anyway, probably, I don't know if I'll ever do that one again, but on this one, it's the you can transport 2 infantry in a combat drop, but it has to be joined with a ground or amphibious assault to do it. And then on non-combat though, you can just move them. And yep, that's a nice option there. You get 2 if you buy the one set like I did. It's a really nice deal. You get 2 sets of these just rule cards, kind of rule explanation cards, which perfect for one for each. Okay, and now I'm going to go over some of the cards for the specific countries, some of the changes. And, I'll go through. Yeah, start with Soviet Union. So, Soviet Union has Lend-Lease. I tried this in the Bloodbath, or excuse me, this is for Bloodbath Rules. I tried this in the Generalfund YouTube Wars. It wasn't as extreme as this, but I really like it because I feel like the game is very weighted towards the Axis powers. So any help the Allies can get, I think is a good thing to the game. And here's what they get. Artillery, mechanized infantry, a tank, a destroyer, or a fighter, or I guess money, which is, yeah, that's helpful for Russia for sure. Okay, here's an explanation of the Soviet-Mongolian defense. That if Japan attacks Soviet-controlled territory, Mongolia rises up and they get cavalry, which, again, I think that's awesome. I love the Mongolian cavalry. Okay, this is the rule for Soviet industrial complexes, that they're mobile. For me, I don't see a great use for this, but again, I understand why it's in the rules. It makes sense historically, and that minor industrial complexes can be moved, I guess basically to get them out of the way of that German juggernaut when they come through. And then the last one, this is the one I was most excited about, the Trans-Siberian Railway. I played this rule in the Generalfund YouTube Wars. I thought it worked great. I like it a lot. And hopefully when I finally get around to printing off the new Siredblood map, it will have the railway on it, as well as the updates to the IPC values of certain territories that will match with these cards. And yep, hope to do that someday, soon, hopefully. And then maybe I can do some kind of a giveaway with my old map, possibly. All right, a couple other changes here. One that I noticed was the Japan political situation, the fall of Tokyo. Really like this because again, it's very hard for the Allied powers, and so if Tokyo is captured, the Axis powers lose the game. And I think this is a terrific rule. I'm glad it was added. Makes very good sense. And there's a corresponding rule for the United States. And in fairness, this is a good one too, that if the Axis powers capture Washington, the Axis automatically win the game. So fair that it kind of goes both ways for Tokyo and for Washington. I like this a lot too. Definitely adding that both those rules to my house rules for Axis and Allies. All right, and go through the China political situation cards. What I like kind of explains it. The how the way things work with poor China getting beat up by Japan, and then we have the China, the better China that Siredblood added. That I love, which is that if the Burma Road's open, China has more options in terms of what they can purchase. I did a video on this. I've already kind of added this to my house rules. Think it's awesome, and I like the additional setup that China gets 3 cavalry starting in any starting Chinese territory or territories. Very cool, because again, allies need all the help they can get. We'll take it. Okay, lastly, I'm going to talk about what's maybe the most controversial aspect of the new Bloodbath rules, and this is Canada. So we now have Canada. Canada is its own country. It goes at the same time as Anzac, and it uses Anzac's pieces. And while I am tantalized at the idea of priming, painting, and making a new set of custom units, mixed feelings about Canada, but I understand that there's some bigwigs in the Axis and Allies community that are Canadian. I see where they would want this, and why not? Give it a shot and see how it goes with that. I guess the only concern I have is that 7 IPCs that Canada starts with. Does the UK lose them, or is it made up somewhere else? And because I think the UK is in a situation where they need all the help they can get. All right, and I also wanted to show this this national objective for Japan. This is a great addition to the new set. Because Japan controls all Chinese territories, they get an extra 10 IPCs. This was a huge objective of the Japanese. They wanted to conquer China and kill as many Chinese people as they could. So it makes sense that this has been added to the... Okay, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. I love the new Bloodbath Rules cards. They look great. Smaller size. I did like the bigger cards, but these are cool. And then the best part of this is that I didn't have to use my local print shop. That I've done a lot of business with them with all the Siredblood customizations, and for whatever reason they seem to be annoyed every time I call them. So I'm glad I didn't have to deal with that this particular time. The new cards, it's worth it. I recommend getting them. And anyway, thank you for watching.
Please subscribe to Generalfund for less dishonor.